Welcome back everyone to another video, and in this video we're going to talk about all things regarding Rockhampton. Now if you didn't know where Rockhampton is a regional location in Queensland that has shown huge amounts of growth over the past 3 to 5 years, and I want to cover if it is still a good investment into late 2025 and whether or not you should be considering it. And just before I go into the video guys, if you haven't already, jump into the private community. It's $35 a month. It has huge amounts of resources available for you guys. We have over 300 members, over 56 reviews. There's personalized mentorship, there's deal vetting, there's a suburb watch list, as well as heaps and heaps of resources and videos for you guys to watch, learn, and understand about how to invest into property and what to buy next. So if you need any help, jump in the private community and we will assist you. Let's get straight back into the video. Now, the first thing I always do with any suburb review or location review is to go through the data. And with the data, we have Rockham City Council here. And there's a number of locations within the LGA of Rockhampton that I will cover. We can see that the median buy price is around $600,000. Realistically, you can find properties anywhere from about $550 to about $750 these days that are suitable for investment in Rockhampton. You can see the yield has dropped to about 4 to 5% now. You can get above 5% still, but it has significantly compressed compared to the past 3 to 5 years. And when we look at the numbers, we can see it's about 90,000 people in terms of population, and we can see that Rockhampton has grown about 65% over the past 3 years. So prices have essentially doubled over the past 3 years and has grown more over the past 5 years. And it's no secret Rockhampton has done really well. What's really good with Rockhampton though is that its median rents have been rising with about 8.9% growth over the past 12 months across the local government area, which is great. Now you can see, and this is a reoccurring trend with all locations that have grown significantly in value, is that its gross yields have significantly compressed, where back in 2022 you were achieving 6 to 7% yields for the right property, and now you're achieving about 4 to 5 and above 5% yields in Rockhampton. Now, when we look at the affordability levels, we can see that it's still under 35 years and close to 30 years, which means that Rockhampton is still a very affordable location for local owner-occupiers, even though prices have doubled in the past 2 to 3 years, which is just extraordinary, which means there's more growth that it could potentially have. But when we look at the supply and demand metrics, this is where it paints a little bit of a tough story. When we look at the rates of growth over the past couple of months, we can see that the trend has slowly been changing, where there is more stock coming onto the market than there was ever before. Because as you can see, from 2020 to about 2024 in July to October, you can see that stock levels were drastically reducing, but now you can see they're starting to rise. And once again, same with the demand levels. You can see that demand has been softening over the past couple of months. So there isn't that exact level of heat in the market. And you can see inventory levels have been rising, which isn't a good sign to see for capital growth. But once again, it's not only the local government area you want to be looking at, it's also the nuanced suburb locations. I'm going to show you some examples here. And one location I have right now is Allenstown, with a median buy price of around $500,000 with a yield of around 4%. Again, significant compression, but nonetheless, you can see this location has driven about 50% growth in the past 3 years and about no rent increases in the past year. Now, this could be a coincidence of a lot more investors coming into the area and buying up properties, and it already has a very high rented to owner occupier ratio of 48%, all giving the combination of hard to increase rents. Now you can see affordability is still very good, and you can look at the supply and demand metrics where this is looking still a little bit stronger, where stock levels are still incredibly low and demand is still pretty high. So that means we're still going to see capital growth in the short term. Now inventory isn't exactly rising at a rapid rate, but we're sitting around 1 month, which is slowing down a little bit, but there is still a very, very tight market overall. And another location that has been very popular for investors over the past 3 years is Frenchville. You can see this location has done about 87% in the past 5 years. Decent rental growth, very friendly owner-occupier suburb, 26% rented owner-occupier ratio, and a high ERSAT score. But when you look at the data behind this suburb, you can see that stock levels are starting to rise and it's starting to slow down. And that's the same with the days on market, where you can see it's starting to trend upwards and demand is starting to cool off. Now, it's still early days, but this is the first signs that trends are changing. Now, I do find this vacancy to be a little bit off. It says 3.4%. I think H-Tag has got that wrong, and I'll show you why a little bit later. But you can see that inventory levels have now risen into 1.4 months. So it's definitely starting to rise up again compared to when 2024, when inventory levels were sitting at 1.2, 1 month of inventory. It's now back up to 1.4, and this could get worse over time. Another location that was incredibly popular was Norman Gardens. And when you start to look at the data behind it and you look at the stock levels, it's also starting to slow down, and demand is also starting to trend upwards again. Now, it's still very tight market. Inventory levels are starting to creep up as well around the 1.2, 1.4 months level. So the supply and demand metrics aren't looking as favorable as it once was from what I can see on the data. And when you start to look at SQM research, you can look at the postcode of say 4701, which is Norman Gardens, Frenchville's, etc. You can see that stock levels, when you switch to houses and units, you can see that it's starting to flatten out a little bit. Now, it's still early days because you can see that compared to say early 2020, the stock levels are still incredibly low. So it doesn't take much demand to come into the market to start to see capital growth happen again. However, it really is starting to flatten out, and this could be a swinging change. In the same token, you can look at the other postcode of 4700, which is similar, and you can search that up. And again, it's starting to flatten out. Now, it's still incredibly tight compared to 2020, 2021 levels, but it is looking like it's slowing down at this point in time. So that begs the question, what is really happening in the Rockhampton market? And to give you the facts behind it, there's a couple of things. There are still buyers agents buying in the market. It is still incredibly affordable for local residents, and you can find properties around the 550 to 600K price point still in this area with an above 5% yield. That said, the same level of heat and hotness in this market is not the same as it was in 2023, 2024, when it was really starting to pick up and growth was really happening. But right now, the market pressures are in that funny spot where it's still hot enough where you will expect some capital growth, but it could be on the sort of tail end of the growth cycle. And that's the perspective I look at it. And in general, I don't like to invest into locations when there's already 60% growth or more. That's my own personal opinion. Some people still like to go on to the top end of the market and buy then. That's their own investment strategy. And the other really strong positive thing with Rockhampton is that vacancy rates are so incredibly low. It makes raising rents a lot easier than what you would expect, with the 12-month change at 12%. So you're getting very good rent increases, very tight vacancies. So from a landlord perspective, that's a really good thing to see. Now, of course, there's a bit of nuance here because with Rockhampton in general, one, you have higher council rates, you have higher insurance rates, and you have higher water bills and stuff like that. So you've also got to factor that in because the net yield doesn't come out to be as good. But don't worry, guys, there is even more to cover about Rockhampton. And what I wanted to show you is that Rockhampton is a known flood zone, right? A lot of Rockhampton does fall under a major flood zone. It has had flooding in the past that you have to be very careful of. You do not want to be buying properties in locations that are known to be a flood zone because insurance premiums can be ridiculously high. And all I have to do is just take this example, this property here that I have found. This one was sold for $567,000 in 15th of September. You can already see from the map, it's extremely close to the river. So when you look at this property 34 in Park Avenue, you can see that it falls directly under a flood zone. Right, I did this extremely quick quote on Amy Insurance or Home Insurance with only building insurance, and that insurance came out to be $5,679, which is incredibly high. It basically means owning a property in this location will just not make sense, right? Now, of course, this is just Amy. Make sure you check the other insurance companies like Terry Shear. There's also specific insurance companies in Queensland that cover flood zones that you can go check out as well. So make sure you double check the quotes because it can come out to be anywhere from about 2.5 to 5 to 7 grand because it can get really expensive, which makes it even more important to understand that you do not want to even take the chance of buying a property in a flood zone in Rockhampton. Even if the location itself doesn't flood, insurance will kill your property portfolio. So you have to be very careful. Here's an example of a property that you can look at. Now, this one was recently sold in Kawana for $620,000. A very nice home, decent interior, a great long-term hold in terms of the property quality and location, etc. And something like this is going to set you back around $155,000 in cash or equity at a 20% deposit. And I had a look at the rental estimates. Anywhere from around 580 to around 620 is what you could expect for a 3x1 in Rockhampton, or roughly around Frenchville, Norman Gardens, Kawana, etc. And so this one will yield you about 5% in terms of rental yield. Now, I have put slightly higher in home insurance and council rates, and honestly, I'm being relatively conservative as well with these numbers and estimates. There is no land tax on the personal name, which is good. So then when you look at your total income and expenses, you can see you're about negative 14 grand in cash flow before tax considerations and about negative 9 grand. So not bad at all, but also not necessarily the best, especially when you factor in property prices have already doubled in the past 3 years. But that's an example of a good property you could find in Rockhampton for the right price. Now, that's an example of a property you can find in a good, reasonable location in Rockhampton for a reasonable budget. Now, you can find properties around 550 with slightly higher yields as well, but you have to make sure the type of quality, make sure it's out of a flood zone, make sure it's out of a bushfire zone, make sure there's no public housing nearby, etc. But that's an example of a property that you could be considering in Rockhampton. And really, you can find a load of different assets. Like this one in Berserker was sold for $438,000. Again, not the best quality in terms of a property. You can see this one was sold in Gracemere, a very new property, for $780,000. Probably wouldn't purchase that because of the price point. You generally want to try find near the median. This one was 4x2 for $715,000 and 3x1 in Berserker for another $615,000, right? So it is a location with various different price points that you can purchase at. You just have to find the one that suits your numbers and your deal. So the minimum yield you require and your budget capacity. But there is also a lot going for Rockhampton in terms of its major projects. When you start to look into the area, they've got a couple of good projects coming in. You've got the Fitzroy to Gladstone pipeline, which is under delivery, valued at $983 million, which is supplying the local economy, infrastructure, and jobs. You've also got the Rockhampton Ring Road, which is under procurement. Now, when it's under procurement, which means they're finding a person to construct the project, essentially. Now, that's valued at $1.9 billion. Whenever that starts, that will be a huge boost for the economy. You'll need jobs, infrastructure, and housing for those people to come and work. And you've also got other small projects around Rockhampton City area, as well as in the local government area as well. A number of different projects happening, including the Mount Morgan Water Pipeline Project, sewage treatment plant upgrade, and more in the Rockhampton Sports Precinct as well. So there is a lot going on from an infrastructure standpoint in Rockhampton as well. It's got pretty high incomes, great affordability, good rent rises, good vacancies, and more. And Rockhampton is no slouch. It has a population of 90,000 people, 41,000 jobs, and a $15 billion economic output, and its GRP is just growing every single year, showing great strength and resilience. And when you look at the industries of this location, you can see it's fairly diversified into healthcare, education, retail trade, and more. So a very well diversified economy. And when you look at the exports, it's mainly into electricity, gas, mining, manufacturing, transport, and warehousing. So definitely not a one-trick pony location, but definitely not a well diversified location in terms of exports into other factors like healthcare, financial services, or other things like that. It is still mainly mining, electricity, gas, and manufacturing. So that's a factor you have to consider when investing into this location. But overall, a very solid economy, very decently diversified from my perspective. My main gripe with this location is essentially the growth that it's had over the past 3 to 5 years, which is 60 to 80, 90%. Now, it's still very affordable. It is still very good value in terms of finding the right property at the right yield. Now, if you're entering this market, you do have to make those trade-offs. You do have to understand the market isn't the same as it was 24 months ago, but there is still a decent amount of pressure to expect some capital growth in the near future. After that, we'll have to reassess and evaluate where the market is sitting at, right? So if you have any questions at all, make sure you jump into the private community. We will help you out, pick the right location that fits your investment strategy. Remember, it's not a one size fits all. You have to align your location that you invest in with your personal strategy to make the right call. Till next time, thank you very much.